Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and we are outside today. Today's video is my June wrap up. All the books I read in June, and well, all the books I read in June. So yeah, let's get started. So, my unintentional goal of this month was to finish series that I'm in the middle of. So the first series that I finished was finally the Twisted series by Anna Huang. Anna Huang? I don't know. But I finally finished the series by finishing up with the literal thickest book of my entire life. Just kidding. But like, why is it so long? It's so long for so many silly reasons. And they just, I don't know. But I really did love this book, and because of Anna Huang, I've started loving like billionaires. Like, he wasn't a super billionaire, but he was rich, and like, I don't know, in life I think it's so tacky, but in a book, something about it just grips me from the beginning, and I'm just like, oh, he's gonna, like, I don't know. In life, if a man had so much money, I'd be like, yuck. But like, Christian Harper, he's not my favorite of them, but he's up there with the top people. And the only thing I did not like about this book is it was like, we're in. Like, it was almost like I skipped, like I thought I skipped like the beginning of the book, because there was like no, I don't know, it was just like he liked her. Like, it wasn't like he thought he liked her or this or that. But like, we began the book and they both liked each other, and it was just weird. Like, it came out of nowhere. But I mean, I guess it's fine, but it doesn't make sense why the book is 500 pages long when we skipped the get to know part. I mean, I get it. It's the fourth book in a series. Like, we know who these people are. It kind of revolves around, let me remember. So basically, Stella lives in this guy's apartment complex. Well, apartment building. And he also lives there, and he owns a security company. And, you know, that kind of plays out. And he's kind of like, he doesn't really have feelings. He doesn't care unless it's coming from Stella. Like, he cares, he will go to any means to, like, protect her. Like, little crazy, if you ask me. But yeah, the next series I had no problem at all finishing was, well, they're all out of order, was the rest of the Chestnut Spring series by L.C. Silver. And you can tell that these books are literally untouched because I read them on my Kindle. But of course, I had to have them in the physical copies, and let alone the fancy like the original covers. Yeah, I had to finish the series because it was so gripping. Like, I could not stop reading them. Like, I finished this Powerless, I think, at like, I want to say like 10:30 p.m. I immediately downloaded Reckless and just started reading. Like, there was no stopping me. Like, I read all three of these, I think, in 4 days. It was crazy. Of the three of these, I think my favorite, this is tricky, because my favorite one is the blue one. What is that one? Heartless? Yeah, Heartless. Heartless was my favorite, with Cade and Willa. Oh, I loved them. But of these three, I'd have to say probably Jasper and Sloane, because they grew up together. It was like a second chance romance, and she's a runaway bride. Obviously gonna be a good one. And he's not a cowboy. He's partially a cowboy, but he mainly plays hockey, so it's similar to like a hockey romance. But yeah, I just love this scene. The scene really gets me in all of them. The whole book, like, It's so good. I wish I could read them again, but I need to wait because 1, I have other books to get to, and 2, I feel like I just got out of there, so I need to wait a little bit to go back in. But yeah, Powerless was about Jasper and Sloane, and it's kind of like childhood best friends, adult best friends, runaway bride, all the things. And I don't want to spoil too much because like it's so good to grasp it all as it's coming, you know? Reckless is about Theo. Theo is not a brother, but he's a bull rider, and he's the man from the first book, Rhett, his kind of protege, and then the first girl from the first book, Summer, and then Summer's sister, Winter. But in this book, you kind of get Winter and Summer kind of like reconnecting because they kind of had a rough childhood. I'm so sorry, my chickens are screaming. But yeah, this is about basically like the first characters from the first Theo and Winter together, but like something at the beginning of this very book happens, and Theo is very unaware of it happening because Theo goes back onto his bull riding tour, but Winter is left to deal with this so problem. And my favorite thing about this book is it kind of just throws it at you. Chapter 8, it starts with 18 months later. I've never seen that in a book before, and that 18 months later really pulls it all together. I won't spoil the rest and like what that 18 months later kind of calls for, but yeah, it's a good book. And then we have Hopeless, and this, it's still great, but it might be my least favorite of them. It's about Bo. He's a middle brother. And this one actually has, I think, trigger warnings in it. Yeah, alcoholism, PTSD, skin grafting, and burns. Because he is the military brother. He was in the something, and he was on a mission, and he's very high up in the military. And yeah, something happens to him in the third book, actually, the Powerless book. He goes missing, and we're not sure if he's coming back. But this book is kind of like, you almost could read them all 3 together. They're kind of all happening at the same time. It's kind of interesting. But they're all happening at the same time once you read them all and you're reading this book. But like when you're reading these 2 things are not happening. Like, it's very interesting. So yeah, this one is about Bo and the bartender, and her name is Bailey and Bo. And this is kind of like fake dating because they both have things that they want to do. Bo wants to get his family off of his back, and Bailey wants to get out of town and not be known with her last name. Jansen, Bailey Jansen. And the Jansens are not liked in Chestnut Springs. And they pretend to be married, and it's very fun because obviously when you're fake dating, you're gonna fall in love. So just watching that play out with like 2 of the biggest grumpy people in town is just incredible. And then this isn't a series, but I was trying to get through all of Emily Henry's books, and I had 2 more, so of course I read them both. So first I read Beach Read, and I didn't anticipate this because everybody raves about this book, and I kind of gave it like a 4.25 star just because like it's so anticlimactic. It's just kind of like a steady book. There's really nothing jaw-dropping, and when there is anything jaw-dropping, it like is resolved almost immediately. Like there's no point in this book where I'm like, come on, just resolve the problem, which I guess is great because I usually hate when problems just lay out for like 5 chapters, but these are like resolved within the chapter, which is kind of nice, and that's why I gave it a 4.25 stars. And I love the layout of the story because it's so normal. Like some books you read and you're so flabbergasted that these things don't even happen in real life, and that's the joy of books. But like this one is so normal, and like the problems resolve in a timely manner rather than like holding out and making the reader just want to keep reading, which I did want to keep reading. I read this whole thing in like 2 days, but yeah, it was too, I don't want to say fast paced, but there wasn't any like major problems where I was like, oh, that's the climax of the book. It was all just kind of like meh. Like there was no like the top of the book where you knew that things were going to start to get better, because it was all just good. I don't know how to describe it, and I don't know if anybody feels the same as me, so let me know in the comments if you feel the same. The next book I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry. So now I am caught up besides Funny Story. And I tabbed the heck out of this book. I don't know if you can see, but I loved this book. I don't know why I put it off for so long. I'm so irritated with myself as to why I put it off for so long. It is definitely not like super happy book, but like all the things that just kept happening, I don't know. It's something about it just gripped me. Like it gripped me so good. It's about a couple who were engaged. They're pretty much not childhood lovers, but college lovers. They fell in love in college, and ever since then, their friend group has taken this same trip back to where the one girl grew up, on the beach in Michigan. Not the beach, the lake in Michigan. And I'm trying to describe. So they were engaged, and their friend group still thinks that they are engaged. And so at the end, you kind of find things out that's not so true, but they have to pretend to be engaged because they think this whole time that everybody thinks that they're still together, even though they have cut off the engagement and just aren't telling anybody because they're scared that because they were friends before they started being together, and they made this pact back in college that they weren't ever to break up because they had a beginning rule that no friend group members could date, which turns out to be completely like not true, and all of these people are together, and the friend group kind of grows, and this is kind of like a dual point of view POV where it goes back in time to present day, and they're at the last time they can go to this beach house, and some things kind of come up. The friend group kind of works together, the girls and the guys, and Sabrina has planned this entire week getaway, and there's a wedding at the end, and yeah, so you kind of get to know all the characters on a deeper level, more than just like the couple that it's mainly talking about, and you kind of get the grasp of the friend group forming back together and the problems that they face as they're changing and they're growing up and they're not in college anymore, which I kind of related to because I'm kind of out of college. I graduated, and like my everything's changing, and like I'm kind of just trying to grip it. So this book kind of really resonated with me very well, because it's more than just the couple breaking up. It's kind of like a friendship breaking up, but there is a happy ending, so if anybody's wondering. And this book is signed as well, which I love. The next book, actually the last book that I finished, is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I actually held off for so long also trying to read. It's been on my shelf for so long. Oh, I don't know why it's been on my shelf for so long. Flipping through it like so fast, to the point of like I was reading at work, I was reading at the gym, I was reading in the pool, I was reading in the shower. Like it was crazy. I didn't do anything but read this book until I was done, because the ending is so far from what I thought was going to happen. It's insane. It's about a woman who at the beginning of the book starts off by sharing her diary, and she becomes connected with her therapist. Turns out that therapist is crazy, but he's obsessed with her, and he gets this job at the same psych ward that she is currently living in because she can't be in jail because she's silent. She will not talk. Ever since this big event happened, she will not share her side of the story. She won't share anything. So then she gets this therapist, and he is bound to get her to talk, and guess what? She starts talking. And yeah, what she comes out and says is just so crazy. The only thing is, I wish there was an epilogue, because so much goes on said at the end of this book. It's insane. And like almost all of this book is a spoiler, so I really can't say much because then it'll be spoiled for you. But I know a lot of people have already read this book, so like I feel like I'm late to the game, but there's still some people out there who have not read this book, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But it's literally 325 pages. So like you just keep flipping and flipping through this book. So yeah. And then I got to page 37 of The Dead Romantics, which I'm gonna keep reading, but did not finish it, so it's not part of the wrap up. Yeah, so I read 7 books in the month of June, which is actually kind of good for me because I have 1, a full-time job, 2, I work most weekends, and 3, I have a life. And like, I've read 7 books and I'm like proud of that because I was in such a reading slump from like January to May. Oh, it was awful. And then I started reading the Chestnut Spring series again. Yeah, that brought me right out of that slump. And so I'm back to reading, and that's kind of why I started this channel back up, because 1, I have a hobby that I'm loving. 2, I have a hobby that I don't see myself like dissing from. And 3, I love reading now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Leave a comment of a tree emoji since we're outside. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, and thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.